Shalom, this is your brother Abarawan, giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rokak, Hadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who were teaching the 100% truth of the gospel, helping to seal and to enable to defy and seal the elect of the nation of Israel. And all salutations to the brothers and all the Akim out there pushing this gospel in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. So what we're in today is UFO Stalker. This website that is the website that we're looking at right now, and the reason why I'm looking at this website is because the title of this lesson is going to be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. When people they see all these UFO, these unidentified flying objects, they don't understand what they are, but through the precepts of the scriptures we have come to the understanding that these UFOs are the chariots which the scriptures speak of. And let me quickly get the book of Psalms 68 and 17. One second, so okay, here it is. The chariots of power are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them as in Sinai in the holy place. So these UFOs that these heathens keep speaking of, that they keep claiming that these UFOs are alien spacecraft, they don't understand what it is. And it was such a big threat that the US president had to issue a space force. As you can see, there are many of these UFO sightings in both Europe and Babylon, or Salakia, America, things like to call it that. All these UFOs are the chariots of the Most High, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh. They are watching these, keeping track of everything that goes on the planet Earth. These are the same chariots, the same vehicles which is just speak of, the pillars of fire that led our ancestors out of the land of Egypt. The angels that brought destruction on Sodom and Gomorrah, those were UFOs. And through the scripture, we understand that these UFOs are actually, I already said it, for these UFOs are actually the spacecrafts that the angels fly, the angels use in transportation. They are the spacecraft that were created by Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai. Now I'll get a few precepts to show that, and maybe at the end of this lesson, you brothers will be convinced too. I mean to say convinced and not confused. It's an old it's an old reference from school. And this is the book of Zechariah chapter 5, the flying roll as it were. So okay, take me a second to get it. Book of Zechariah. This is Zechariah chapter 5, I'll start from verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, okay, I guess I'll stop there. So basically, what Zechariah was seeing was, what they call today a UFO. Back then, it was called a chariot of Yahweh. The cloud, and even sometimes, it could be called clouds because if you look through these, I had the pictures before, but I don't have them now. If you look through the pictures of the UFOs, you're able to see that some of them even resemble clouds. They used to hide in between the clouds. They used to hide in the clouds. And even the scriptures talk about that the chariots of Yahweh and Yahweh usually hide in the clouds. And these chariots these chariots, is what is going to be used to beam up the elect out of the earth before it out of the earth before it is out of Babylon before it is destroyed. It's going to be and what's going to be used to destroy Babylon. These chariots of Yahweh, Babylon is going to be destroyed by chariots, by nuclear fire, by plagues, by pestilences, by everything that Yahweh is going to give everything he has to bring down Babylon. Just give everything he has to destroy Babylon. And it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful thing. If you are if we are actually truly part of the elect, and if we are saved. And then, okay, I guess I'll have to go into my apocrypha, because I've got one in the book from the book of Ecclesiasticus. You know, book that was written by the what's his name again? Yahweh. It was also not Yahweh Shai, not Jesus, not our Savior Yahweh Shai, but the son of it's one of the sons of Sirach, I think. And this is Ecclesiasticus 48:7. Who headeth the rebuke of Yahweh in Sinai, and in Horeb the judgment of vengeance? Who anointed kings to take revenge, and prophets to succeed after him? Who was taken up in a whirlwind of fire, in a chariot of fiery horses? Who was ordained for reproofs in their times, to pacify the wrath of Yahweh's judgments before it break forth into fury, and to turn the hearts of the father unto the son, and to restore the tribes of Jacob? Blessed are they that saw thee, and slept in love, for we shall surely live. Elias it was, who was covered with a whirlwind, and Eliseus was filled with the Spirit whilst he lived. He was not moved with the presence of any prince, neither could any bring him into subjugation. This is speaking of Elijah, and if you all know we all know the story of Elijah, how he was carried up in a chariot. He was beamed up, if you will, lifted up in a whirlwind. And what is whirlwind? Let's get the definition of whirlwind. So we'll see. It's a strong wind. All a whirlwind is basically is a strong wind. So basically, so if they were carried up by, let's say, a tractor beam, if you know what that means, it will be considered a strong wind, a violent windstorm of limited extent, or a person or a body of objects or events sweeping violently onward. So if Elijah was violently just pulled off off the earth and carried into a chariot or a spaceship of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, that's what they would call it. He was lifted up in a whirlwind. He was just taken up instantly, beamed up, if you will. If you can understand that reference, let's get the actual events. The precept for that is in 2 Kings, and it's okay, chapter 2 and 11. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind unto heaven. And that's the scripture. A chariot came and took him up, carried him off to Yahweh Hashem, into the presence of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, just like Enoch in the past. And even that scripture when Ecclesiastes referenced Elijah being, is also a precept for Elijah being one of the greatest prophets. As Yahweh Shai once said that there's no prophet on the earth that was greater than Elijah, but yet he will be least in the kingdom of heaven. Even as scripture also mentioned that Elijah was one of the greatest prophets, which is why he was beamed up by Yahweh Shai, and which is why he came back again as John the Baptist, and he came back again, as we believe about Bivens. Many people don't know that name, but sure, that's just a little bit of just now drop there for now. What do I want to say again? Yes, that he will come back to prepare the way of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, like he always that's his own, that is his lot, that is his lot as a prophet. Anyway, let me get, and even Yahweh Shai himself was beamed up by a chariot. Even Yahweh Shai himself he said that he would come back in a chariot, and he was beamed up by a chariot, and he went up into the clouds, as the scriptures say. This is the book of Matthew 24, chapter 30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with great power and glory. So when all the heathens look up and they see Yahweh Hashem Yahushai coming up, you see the Yahweh Hashem Yahushai coming with those chariots, coming with those UFOs that they have always been seeing flying around. That's when they will realize that they don't fucked up. When they see the Yahushai is when they see Yahushai in his true form, when they see him as he looks, as he appears, that's when they know that he has fucked up. That they fucked up. Excuse my language, but that's how bad it's going to be. That everybody in their house will think that they've messed up, and that they've done something terrible. Not only have they put the people of Yahweh Hashem, not only is Yahweh a black man, but they now realize that they've put his people, the Israelites, under captivity all this while. And that the color of the scriptures is very much real, and he is very much pissed. So we'll go into the book of Acts right now. Book of Acts chapter 1 and 9. Okay, so maybe I should start from the top start. You actually understand who is speaking right now. Okay, this is the book of Acts chapter 1 and start from 1. The former treatise have I made, O Theophilus, of all that Yahweh began both to do and teach, unto the day in which he was taken up, after that he through the Holy Spirit had given commandments unto the apostles whom he had chosen, to whom also he showed himself alive after his passion by many infallible proofs, being seen of them 40 days, and speaking of the things pertaining to the kingdom of power. Let me just say this. In this scripture says that he showed himself to disciples by many infallible proofs. That's the damn thing, There's bunches of, there's pounds of, how do I put it now? There's thousands of witness accounts of Yahweh actually being alive, and people actually know that he existed and know that he was crucified. There's actually eyewitness accounts of him, of his crucifixion, and there's evidence that he actually existed, that Yahweh was actually a real person, that he's evident. The funny thing is that they're not even trying to dispute his evidence anymore. Now they're trying to dispute his divinity, because they can't dispute his evidence. He already existed. People talked about him so much. He was his popularity was so big in the past that everybody knew about him. Even Roman kings actually wrote down, actually talked about himself. They can't even deny his existence anymore. So now they're trying to fight his divinity. But all the nations of the earth will soon see. That's why the scripture says that he that overcometh to the end, because it is at the end that all will be revealed. Okay, let's continue. And being assembled together with them, commanded them that they should not depart from Jerusalem, but wait for the promise of the Father, which saith, ye have heard of me. Okay, so now we know that it is Yahweh that is speaking. So let's just go back to verse 9 so we can get to the point. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. And that's basically what that is. He got beamed up into his own personal chariot, because Yahweh has his own personal chariot. And that reminds me, there are hundreds upon thousands of these sightings they are seeing here. Only sightings that have actually been reported to the US sites. And I think that these sightings are just for only last year and this year, because there have been hundreds of thousands of sightings of chariots. Even here in Nigeria, even here in Nigeria, a few times, even I have seen a chariot. I think it's only been one time, but that people have actually seen chariots before in this Nigeria, unidentified flying objects, and there are hundreds of thousands of times that brothers have seen. There are tons of times that brothers have seen chariots, and they're not going to report it because they already know what the chariots are. The angels of Yahweh are watching over them. So let's just get into a few other quick scriptures. Let's get Revelations 1 and 7. Because Yahweh is going to come back because he left in a chariot and he's going to come back in a chariot. And when people see the chariots, when they see the chariots of Yahweh, the chariots that they are called UFOs, and you see UFOs shooting, that reminds me. That's even what all these alien invasion movies are about. Like, for example, there's a movie called Battle Los Angeles, And a certain brother put this out one time. Another brother is not part of Great Boston, of course, but he put this out one time as Los Angeles actually means the angels, and the movie Battle of Angeles is basically the battle against the angels, because they know that the angels, because they know that all these chariots, all these unidentified flying objects, these UFOs that they call alien spaceships, it's the angels that are in it. That war in heaven and that was spoken of in the book of Revelations. That war in heaven, it was a war against the angels of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh, Um let me see if I can remember how it went again. The war in heaven was the war against Yahweh Hashem Yahweh. Um I yes. This is the book of Revelation chapter 12 and 7. And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and this dragon fought and this dragon fought and his angels. And what this war in heaven actually, all this is actually referencing is, the angels of the chariots of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh fighting against Esau and his space force. Because I've already said it before that Trump had created a space force to intercept Yahweh Hashem Yahweh when he's coming back on the earth to give the earth his judgment. And what they're going to fight against Yahweh Hashem Yahweh, and they're going to completely destroy. No. So let me just continue. This is verse 8. And prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. In other words, they had no rulership again, and they were thrown down to earth, because that's and they were thrown back down to earth, because that's what happens when you go against Yahweh Hashem Yahweh, completely destroyed. The heaven which is talking about here is that Esau's heaven, Esau's rulership, not actual heaven, not actual heaven, which is the throne of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh. The heaven is the skies above. They could not stand this. They could not stay in space anymore, because Yahweh Hashem Yahweh had defeated them I defeated them there. So they were thrown down to earth. You understand? From heaven, which is above, to earth. That's what happens when you fall down. You fall down from up to down. Heaven is up. The skies are up. The heavens are up. The skies and the clouds and all that are up. And the earth is down. So you fall down to the earth. So you fall down to the earth. I guess that's all. That's the only explanation I can give. Anyway, let me go into what I actually wanted to get into. And that is Revelations 1 and 7. Just wanted to bring out that quick precept just to show that the war in heaven was talking about the chariots as well. And this is Revelations 1 and 7. And behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindred of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, this is basically saying the same thing as that one I read before in Matthew. That he's going to come back in chariots, in his chariots, he's going to come back, and everybody will see him as he truly is, and the people that the people that persecuted him in the past. If you know that reincarnation is real, and you know that the scriptures speak of reincarnation, because the scriptures do speak of reincarnation, and you know that you come back every third or fourth generation, to deliver judgment for what you have done in your past life. So those people that actually crucified him in their past life, they'll be around when Yahweh Hashem Yahweh comes back, and when they see him, they realize what they are. When they see him, all the people that pierced him, which is all the people that all these, not just the people that crucified him, all you scoffers as well. Now you accusers of the brethren, and that white lady was saying before. You remember that video? All you accusers of the brethren, you're going to see him too. And what will you do? You will, and because you will realize that you had been in presence, that you had truly been in the presence of a prophet, but you rejected that prophet because you wanted to continue in your wickedness. That's basically what Yahweh's return is not going to be. It's not going to be all peace and love, because if it was, nobody will be willing and nobody will be gnashing their teeth. So that's why these Christians, they never go into these prophecies. They never go into the book of Revelations. They avoid it like a plague, because they know that it's going to because they know that it's going to be hell on earth for a minute. They know that they're going to be part of that hell on earth. And this is the book of Revelations 11. I will start from chapter 3. And I will give power unto my two witnesses, And they shall prophesy 1,203 clothed in sackcloth. That's a precept for why the brothers, why the elders and the apostles, why also the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, why they go out to the highways and byways in garments of sackcloth, in the fringes, and start teaching. This is why, because we're trying to fulfill the prophecy. We're trying to be the two prophets, the two witnesses, which are the northern and the southern kingdom. And the precept for them being northern and southern kingdom is actually in the next chapter. So let me get it. These are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the power of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceeded out of their mouths and devoured their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in manner be killed. So this is what it's talking about: the two olive trees, the two candlesticks. That's the northern and the southern kingdom. Those are the two sticks of, I believe it was Ezekiel. Yes, in the book of Ezekiel, when the Lord told Ezekiel to prepare two sticks for the temple, and the one stick was for Joseph, which represents the northern kingdom, and the other stick was for Judah, which represents the southern kingdom. So when I see the northern and southern kingdom, I could get the precepts for this, but I just want this video to be real quick. Quick faster in a hurry. So I'm just going to summarize it. After the death of Solomon and the reign of Rehoboam, remember that the kingdom of Israel the kingdom of Israel was divided into two. The kingdom of Israel, which was Samaria, which had the each had the 9 tribes and the half tribe of, no, I think he had all the whole tribe of Joseph in it. Okay, so they had roughly nine tribes, from Reuben down to Joseph, and the kingdom of Judah had Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. The tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Not like the whole tribe of Levi, just the tribe of the Levites that were staying with the Judites and the Benjamites. Or another Levites that came to the land of Judah after Israel had become sinful. Because what happened with the kingdom of Israel was that, because the temple of the Lord was in Judah, Jeroboam did not want the people of Israel to see Rehoboam as their king again, and they would not execute him for trying to usurp the throne of the house of David. So he started bringing up these false gods, and he started bringing up these false priests, raising false priests out of the Jerusalem. And the funny thing is that Jeroboam was actually an Israelite. Even Ahab was an Israelite. And they made the land of Israel to go off so badly that Yahweh had tried to separate Israel and Judah. And Judah still went. I lost Judah. He still went off, and Yahweh separated us as well from Israel. And now in the last days, he's bringing us back together. And that's what you see in the rose. When what Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom are preaching together. When we tell you Latinos and you Native Americans, you Northern Kingdomites, you Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans, you people of the Northern and Southern Kingdom to come together. So that's like damn thing about these BOIs too. These black only Israelites, they don't realize that Israel can only be Israel if all 12 tribes are together. Anyway, that's beside the point. That's another different topic. Let's just continue. And this is verse 6. These have the power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have the power over waters to turn them into blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. And their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. And this great city is speaking of America, Babylon the Great, of course. So Sodom, because of all the sodomy and all the homosexuality and all the evil sexual acts that go on in America daily, and Egypt because house of bondage. I don't need to explain that one, obviously. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. And they shall dwell upon the earth, and shall rejoice over them, and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because the two prophets tormented them that dealt on the earth. And the same thing is happening today, Right now we're tormenting these heathens because we're bringing out this truth of the gospel, we're telling them their judgments, we're telling them they're going to be put into slavery. We're telling them that the Most High actually only, that our Shai only died for the nation of Israel, and that they have no part in his promise. And constantly tormenting them, we're bringing up, we're tormenting these heathens, we're bringing up all the crimes and all the cover history, we're telling them to go back to their heritage, and they just want to stay and be wicked with Esau. So when they finally start sending all those destruction, all that destruction upon us, When they finally start sending, when they finally start persecuting us, all the heathens they'll laugh and they'll enjoy it, you know. They because obviously they don't want because they don't want Israel to be back in power. They want to continue their wickedness with Esau. They don't want to start serving the Most High. How about They don't want to live in righteousness. They want to continue their wickedness. And this is verse 10. And he that dwelt upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make broken. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from power entered into them, and they stood upon their face, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying to them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. What this is speaking about is the elect being up into a cloud in the last day. You know, when Yahweh tells you that you should come up hither, and it's time for you to go, to take you and carry you up into the clouds. And before that, they were dead in the streets for 3 days. And not speaking of the another precept is in Ezekiel, I think it's 35th chapter, the dry bones that rose again. It's speaking of the state of the nation of Israel. You know, we are spiritually dead right now. We are separated from our power. You know, he had completely abandoned us and they basically threw us to the wolves. He said that he would make Sabbath be forgotten in the land of Israel, that he would turn that he would turn the land of Judah into a Gentile nation. We were completely abandoned by Yahweh Bashim Yahweh. We are spiritually dead in this city, and we had to be, and you know, when the nation saw us in our lowest state, you know, when they saw us being referred to as backwards, that we did not know who we were. Yeah, we were in a state of confusion, we were in a state of complete and utter destruction. They rejoiced, they were happy. They said, these people, they laughed and they scoffed. They looked at us and turned their eyes, they looked at us and turned down, and then they looked down on us. You know, but Yahweh Bashim Yahushai has restored us. You know, we are finally coming back to our heritage, remembering who we are. And we're bringing down this breakdown of the proper breakdown of the scriptures. And we're putting fear in these people because they finally realize that, because people are finally starting to realize that Yahweh Bashim Yahushai might actually, that a God might actually exist. Because when I was bringing the proper breakdown of this scripture, it's finally starting to make sense. Everything, two and two is coming together. Everything is coming together. People are trying to understand what is going on in this world right now. You know, that's the final precept. You know, the elect being carried up into these chariots. The chariots will be the ones that to save us, and chariots will also be the ones that to bring destruction upon this earth. Okay, I hope that that's the end of the lesson. I hope your brothers were edified by that lesson. All praises, all glory, all honor to Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.